Hey, it's me! Welcome everyone once again to Nexus Gaming Series. Tonight we have another Heroic Division matchup. Tonight we've got Modo versus Luxorian Sun. We're going to start things off on Infernal Shrines. Game number 2 will be on Tomb of the Spider Queen. This was map pick for Modo, which means first ban. First pick will be for Luxorian Sun. I would expect to see something of a prioritization on perhaps a Maiev for a ban and a Medivh. Those are kind of your top two right now. Medivh probably the higher priority. You can let it go through. There are ways to counter that strategy. But a lot of those ways is really annoying. I mean, let's be real here. It's really annoying to deal with him regardless. Phoenix could see play here. A lot of teams have figured out that you just crowd control him and he dies. Go figure. Diablo would likely be a high pick for either teams, as is the Hanzo. So those are kind of what we'd expect to see here. I mean, there are other strategies you can do on here. I wouldn't expect to see like a crazy Azmodan comp. But Blaze in the solo lane, maybe up against a Sonya, would be a pretty common matchup there as well. You do see Luxorian Sun is going to ban out the Maiev, so I would expect Modo to ban out the Medivh. If they don't do so, like I said, there are ways to counter that, but most of the time you just don't want to deal with it. So Medivh is indeed the ban, and now first picks over to Luxorian Sun. If they're looking to prioritize healing, Stukov's probably healer number 1 in most people's minds. Malfurion probably number 2. Alexstrasza gets some good value on certain maps, not necessarily on this one. You'd more likely see her on, actually, no, wait, this is Infernal Shrines. I was already thinking Tomb. I don't know why I was on the Tomb mind. Alexstrasza is actually very good on this map. You actually sometimes see her picked early because of how good she is. Dragon Queen, really great. But like I said, Hanzo, he's really strong right now. I would expect Redemption plus the explosive bow picked up. And those other picks I mentioned earlier, Diablo and Alexstrasza getting picked up. So interesting, again, Alexstrasza over Stukov even in this situation. You know, that Dragon Queen, that cooldown is so good. I kind of like the pickup. Granted, I do think Stukov is a little stronger with Diablo than Alexstrasza is, but you can see the immediately pickup of Garrosh and Stukov on the opposite side. Garrosh also in a very strong spot. Interestingly, a little weaker against Diablo, just because Diablo can just straight up, slam you into a wall, or if Diablo's the one that gets flipped over, he can just shadow charge right back. But regardless, Garrosh is the pickup here, and still quite a strong one. Also good that they picked up Hanzo and Garrosh together, because Hanzo's also strong against Garrosh, because, Hanzo just walks up, sharpen arrowheads at level 7, and then says, your armor, forget about it. Next bans here on the side of Modo. Maybe look to get rid of a solo laner. They're going to have their options first up. They could look to get rid of like a Sonya perhaps, and then pick up a Blaze themselves. They're looking at another solo laner in the Leoric, which I think is fine as well. Leoric kind of strong into Alexstrasza within Tomb. The only escape she has would be Cleansing Flame, and once that's gone, he can walk in within a Tomb and lock her down. Not to mention, just being able to reduce the damage with his level 13 Wraithwalk. I think Leoric's a fine ban here. Bans on the side of Luxorian Sun. I mean, they could get rid of some damage that they're really not wanting to deal with. For example, a Genji. Maybe they don't want to deal with Genji knowing that they already have Hanzo on their side. I could see that as a priority pick for them. Otherwise, some kind of follow-up crowd control to a Diablo. In terms of mages, that could be a Jaina or a Kel'Thas, who is pretty good on this map. Maybe even get rid of the Blaze, so that way the ability for the Modo to escape death just, is a little lower. I think that would be fine as well. I mean, those are kind of my top priorities. They're going to ban out the Chromie in a similar vein to the other mages I mentioned before. She is very strong here, and if you're not able to walk into their team, she's just a pain. So picks now for Modo. I mentioned Blaze earlier. You could likely see him picked up here, or the Sonya as the solo laner and let your opponents get the other one. Of the two, I mean, I personally like Blaze a little better, just because I feel like Bunker is such a safe, defensive tool that it's hard to pass up. In terms of damage, these other mentions, the other mentioning of the mages I mentioned before, Jaina and the Kel'Thas, you could see either one of those here, especially with Chromie being banned out. Gul'dan, otherwise, I always forget about him, but then I remember how amazing he is, and he is very good on this map as well, being able to clear out those skeletal defenders and keep himself sustained throughout the team fights. So I would like a mage and a solo lane here. You know, maybe I mentioned the Blaze before. They're gonna go with one of the mages in Jaina, but they're actually gonna pair that with Zeratul. Very interesting. So perhaps we're looking at an Void Prison APOC Ring of Frost combo coming out here on the side of Modo. So now, if you are Luxorian Sun, how do you handle that? I mentioned the Blaze before. Actually kind of difficult pickup for Luxorian Sun because of what they're showing. You know, if you go into a bunker, you're gonna get a combo of one of those on. You're either gonna get a Ring of Frost or an Apocalypse or a VP immediately upon exiting the bunker. So I actually would not want to see a bunker picked up on the side of Luxorian Sun. A Blaze. So maybe they go for the Jaina themselves and grant the bunker to their opponents. They need vision, which they already kind of have some with the Hanzo. It's very good vision, but they need to keep eyes on him and a way to protect their backline. So maybe they're also looking for another warrior that has a bit more peel, or sanctification even with Tyrael. Malthael getting paired up with that, I do like it. I'm still afraid Modo would go Blaze themselves, and then, you know, all of your last rights value gets completely negated because of the bunker. Granted, you could go Tormented Souls, is still very good. But going back to the Tyrael, I like it. You know, I mentioned being able to help the backline. Tyrael's going to be able to provide that, or being able to be the initiator himself. Last pick here for Modo, though, like I said, they're going to need a solo laner. Unless they're going to have Zeratul as the solo, but you would likely see him in some kind of rotation looking for ganks. But they need a frontline. Diablo just won't cut it. So if they have the options between Blaze or Sonya, I would probably go for the Blaze. Sonya would be okay here still. She has a lot of sustain, and you know, against the opponent's CC, Wrath of the Berserker is pretty good as well. And it would give something to give them camps a little easier, whereas Blaze doesn't get that until level 7 with Incinerator Gauntlets. But they are going to go with the Blaze. Again, that's one way to negate the Malthael. You just walk into the bunker and say Last Rites is a no-go. So those are our picks for both of the teams. I mean, in terms of prioritization and in terms of who's going to win based on draft alone, I don't know. I kind of like both the teams. I like Modo's draft. It's very Wombo specific, and if they can pull it off, I feel like they have the tools to do so. It's not an easy combo, you know? Now, I have casted both of these teams before at one point or another. Luxorian Sun was, funnily enough, mentioned to me that I was their first ever caster back in September 2016, and I do remember that. That was a while ago. That was when I first started casting, even. And it was a good game, if I remember correctly. Modo does have a doubleheader tonight. They'll be playing 2+2 at 7:30 Pacific, I believe. And, well, I know, because I'll be casting them. They'll be playing 2+2 later on tonight. But again, this is game number 1 on Infernal. We will be going to Tomb after this one. But here we go. Game number 1 in our series between Modo and Luxorian Sun. On the right-hand side, it is Luxorian Sun with Swoop playing Tyrael, JTR Hanzo. Hayes is playing the Stukov Electra on the Malthael, and Baystate playing Garrosh. On the left-hand side, it is Modo with Savo on Alexstrasza, Jägermeister on Zeratul, King Dingo on Diablo, Amon playing Jaina, and Zabumafu playing Blaze. Level 1 talent W build Alexstrasza. Probably the best choice here. Jaina going for globes. Blaze sitting on his. Does he need the unstoppable? I'm thinking he does. I'm thinking he does. Also, not Redemption coming out from Hanzo, but it is a Q build. But Blaze still sitting on it. I feel like Unstoppable is the way to go. Instead, he's going to go for the attack speed. I guess we'll have to see how that works out in the end. You know, I mentioned the ability to take camps. He doesn't really have that ability until level 7 with those Incinerator Golems, but maybe that's one way to help him earlier on, especially with that Shrine clear. But we do have Malthael duking it out at the top lane up against Blaze, and, you know, that's a difficult lane for Blaze to hold, just because that percentile-based damage really starts to eat away, and then Malthael will just, you know, heal himself. Zeratul also going for Cleave build. That's probably the #1 build right now, but will he be going Cleave build with the Void Prison still? I mean, I do like full Cleave with the rewind resets. Jägermeister taking a lot of damage there. Luxhoop has the slow on him. Jägermeister will fall here. First blood going over to Luxorian Sun. Nice job getting that pick up there. Obviously, maybe just a little too ham on the side of Jägermeister, but camp already getting picked up here on the side of Luxorian Sun. King Dingo getting stunned out in the middle, but he does have an escape available. And again, that lane at the top, I mean, it's pretty even right now. I don't think Zabubufu really pushes in here as hard as Malthael will, for obvious reasons. But watch for this gank on Jägermeister. He's on his way up. Now he's got vision. Electra taking quite a bit of poke, and he's going to get the charge back in. Thanks to his level 1 trait, or ability. I guess it's the activated ability. In terms of questing talents so far, we've only got 1 globe on, or 2 globes now for Alexstrasza with that one. Amon should be able to get away from this. Actually pathing down this way rather than going through the gate with Savo, which means Alexstrasza will not be able to save her. So Jaina will fall here. Level 4 picked up for both of the teams. Indomitable coming on from Garrosh. It is more of the Q build from Hanzo. Like I said, it was likely explosive arrows regardless.
Prepare yourselves for the
Bay State picking up oil dispersal. You know, I said I would expect the Incinerator Gauntlets. That doesn't have to be the choice here, but it is very strong, especially on this map. Shrine is activating at the top lane here, but both teams sticking around bot. Modo wanting to clear this camp up before heading to the top. Blaze already there, obviously, and no one on the side of Modo at the middle quite yet. So they'll have to rotate through that on the way to the objective. Shrine is active. Luxorian Sun on the way. Modo, will they pick up this camp on the way, or are they just going to go right to the objective? It looks like they were thinking about it. They have to clear this wave in the middle first regardless to get there. And with that, Luxorian Sun will have a quick lead on the objectives. Zabubufu holding the lane for the time being. Here we go, King Dingo looking to make something happen, but Bay State's going to nope him right on out of there. Whoa, we got a great silence coming out from Hayes, which means Zeratul is going nowhere, and now Luxorian Sun looking to get aggressive. Nice stun there from Zabubufu, but King Dingo will not make it out alive. Diablo will fall here. Great damage coming out as well, and you know, this is where a lot of that value from Electra's pick as well. Malthael against the double front line really starts to eat away at them, and then obviously the damage from Hanzo to back that up, really just poking them down. So with that set of losses there, Modo will head to lanes, conceding the objective, trying to get some soak in for the team. And we'll see if they are able to, you know, defend this a bit. The bottom tower here already at half-inch points, so I would expect at least the wall and towers to go down. Maybe not much else more. They do have a pretty okay defense with Zeratul here, but with the lack of range damage, okay, now Jane is here. With the lack of range damage, it's actually difficult to clear this up. So tower and walls go down. Punisher gets one more jump out of here. Damage onto the fort as well, but yeah, pretty much what we expected to happen in that situation. And with that, 4 kills over to Luxorian Sun, 0 for Modo. And with the siege potential that they have, they do have themselves a 1-level lead. And they'll go ahead and start this Bruiser camp as well. Blaze at the bottom now, level 7 here, like I said. We do have the Incinerator Gauntlets coming out from him. Into the fray coming out from Garrosh. Who are we throwing? The Stukov? Probably the Malthael, but it's kind of funny throwing the Stukov, right? Because he does so much auto damage. It's kind of insane how much auto he does. Also, the Dragon Hunger is coming out from Hanzo. We're not seeing sharpened arrowheads coming out from him. Interesting pick there. I mean, it helps the Q damage. That's certain. Swoop should be able to get with and see how the Eldruin's going out. Jägermeister getting some poking on a Haze. Nice silence coming out from him, making sure he actually can't dive back in on him. But yeah, Sharpened Arrowheads, you know, it gives you the additional spell power, which will help when you have the Q at 1 and 4. Maybe they don't think they need the Sharpened Arrowheads because the front line with Blaze and Diablo should be squishy enough with the damage that they have to handle it. I mean, they have percentile-based damage with Malthael, so it's not like they really care that much about armor. Good damage onto Oman there from JTR. 2 stacks on that level 1 Q quest, by the way. Level 10 right around the corner now for Luxorian Sun. Next objective will be in the middle lane. Speaking of level 10, there they are. Warlord's Challenge, Sanctification, Dragon's Arrow. It is the Last Rites and Flailing Swipe. Modo taking the camp at the bottom, which means Luxorian Sun has the opportunity to walk in here and take this camp. Nice job there from Hayes getting the slow on him as well. They're going to throw Swoop in. Will they get the kill on the Jägermeister? He's trying to path back in there, but JTR has the cleanup. Nice job there. 5 kills to nothing so far for Luxorian Sun, and they are putting on quite a show in terms of the kills. But Modo is on the way back into this. They're going to have level 10 shortly themselves. And that will be their opportunity to get back. And again, I mentioned in the draft, they are a wombo combo team, and it all happens at level 10. So it is the Apocalypse, Ring of Frost, Bunker, Void Prison, yeah, pretty much what we expected, and Cleansing Flame. So they are going to try to wombo with the VP, APOC, Ring of Frost combo. I mean, there's so many ways to set it up. You could either APOC first and then Ring of Frost. You could VP is usually the opener. Doesn't have to be, though. Jägermeister has vision on him. Get some damage in on a JTR to start things off with. But like I said, this objective is in the middle. 1 level lead for Luxorian Sun, but even talents now. And Modo starting things off here, getting aggressive on the Shrine. Like I said, I don't know how much Luxorian Sun wants to go in here. If they get picks themselves, obviously that's the best case scenario. Get a flip on a Swoop and damage against the wall, but once the Dragon's Queen comes out, it's going to be difficult for Luxorian Sun to come back in here. And then they have got Bunker to save themselves in case anything crazy happens. Electra soaking the wave, getting that pushed in, also doing some poke on the side as well. Pretty even in terms of the objective. Savo gets 1 more heal off in the back line. VP comes out. Here comes the combo. Dragon Queen popped as well. Ring of Frost. Nice Sanctification coming out from Luxorian Sun. They're going to go ahead and pick off the Jaina. Bunker goes out as well as Zabumafu and Diablo. King Dingo getting just shredded from Malthael. And now Modo on the back foot has to back away. Zabumafu will likely fall here. Gets 1 last heal from Savo. Not going to be enough here. 4 kills going over to Luxorian Sun. So I guess I didn't quite see it. I didn't quite see. Was Tyrael in the VP, or was he out and just timed it better than the APOC? Because that Sanctification pretty much turned that team fight around. I mean, that is the obvious way to counter that entire strategy. Stun out, and the flip on King Dingo. Got the root on top of it. King Dingo trying to get on out. Got the Warlord's Challenge on top of him. Diablo's going to fall. 10 kills so far for Luxorian Sun. They're going to shred through this middle fort here. Malthael already headed to the top to continue to soak for the team, as they're probably not going to get much more. They might get some damage onto the front keep here. They do have a camp with them, so they have a little more staying power, but I don't know how much longer they're willing to stay after that. They do have level 13 advantage over their opponents. Armor coming up from Garrosh as well. That was a double up? Double up, yeah. So with that, they, like I said, they grabbed the wall in the middle, didn't quite get the towers. They do have a talent advantage right now. Looking to get aggressive on this camp. You see Blaze was there. Not able to soak the bottom safely anymore. Zeratul, Jägermeister up there, soaking for his team, trying to get them closer to level 13. So Luxorian Sun in the driver's seat right now. Next objective will be in the bottom lane here, and this is where they're going to try to maybe prep the wave for later. Modo starting their bruiser camp in the top left. Difficult spot now for Modo. You know, we saw the combo not quite working for them. And honestly, that's pretty much a large part of what that entire strategy comes down to. If they don't get the Wombo combo on the shrine, there goes that entire strategy. The biggest problem I feel like is Luxorian Sun's also getting the picks, and Modo was not getting the picks, you know, in the laning phase. So level 13 is around the corner now for Modo. I mentioned the prepping of the lane. Here it is already. Luxorian Sun pushing in bot lane here, getting that ready for the next objective. Meanwhile, up at the top, Modo doing the same, but trading out a fort for a keep wall. Not ideal. Keep wall, way more XP than the fort. Well, not way more, but a significant amount more. Nice arrow there coming out from JTR. Gets the vision from Jägermeister. Jägermeister, is he willing to go back in? I don't think so. Nice heals from there, from Hayes as well. So 16 going to be around the corner now for Luxorian Sun, and they will be back to that talent advantage I mentioned earlier. And there it is. More Wrecking Ball coming out. I like the Earthshaker, the additional stun coming out from Garrosh as well. Interestingly, he didn't go for the range and damage at level 1, instead going for the Q quest, which is damage on the Q. Because I just like the throw and range, especially because it pairs up so well with the stun. Jägermeister, he got the damage on him, but he should be able to get away from here. All right. Camp at the top was picked up for Luxorian Sun, so that's going to be pushing for them in the top lane. That will be something that Modo has to clean up before they get here. And now Luxorian Sun looking to take this camp as well. So nice camp timing on their ends. And again, because this objective is at the bottom, Modo does not have a fort, and more specifically, doesn't have a well there, whereas Luxorian Sun does. So Luxorian Sun has the talent advantage, and with that, Modo doesn't even look like they're going to bother, which is probably, like I said, the smarter play. The question is, how much value does Modo actually get from losing this? Luxorian Sun has pretty great shrine clear, especially with Hanzo here. They're going to get the fort at the top. Will they be willing to rotate to middle now, or are they going to just Hearth immediately? Looks like they're questioning what to do. We got one Hearth coming out. All right, there are the Hearths coming out finally. I mean, something could have been said, maybe go middle, get them closer to 16, but I don't know if they had time, especially with that camp pushing against them. Jägermeister trying to clean that up himself. Trying to cleave his way through it. But this is a big Punisher with that 16 advantage. Gonna jump onto 2 members right there. King Dingo and Zaboomafoo both getting hit by that. Modo, how much are they willing to commit here in terms of heroics in the defense of their keep? Because I believe Luxorian Sun should just be able to walk right in here. The scariest thing is, okay, I'll say a Garrosh just walking straight at you is pretty much the scariest thing that Modo could be looking for right now. Indomitable did come out. He tried to get it. The taunt going on to Diablo. VP in the backline lands onto just the Malfield. What they combo on top of it. Nice Sanctification coming out once again. Swoop the Shoop. Got the Sanks. King Dingo taking a lot of damage. Ring of Frost will land, however. Will they get any kills off them is the question. You saw the bunker go out there as well. Diablo already on his way back. Arrow lands on the Jägermeister. JTR, does he have the damage? Oh, he does! Zeratul falling there, but Hanzo gonna die in return. Amon gets that kill. Malfield in the backline trying to take care of Alexstrasza. Electra does not get that kill, but they do get the kill on Blaze. That was 3 kills for a total of 1 in favor of Luxorian Sun. Are they willing to stick around here? They have about 30 seconds or so until the opponents are fully at capacity, but it looks like they are going to back away here. They grab the keep. Their opponents have 16. Safer play is to just get on out. So nice job there, I mean, for Luxorian Sun. They got the keep. They only lost the 1. Modo had the Ring of Frost. I feel like a lot of it, again, was just Garrosh walking straight at you. I think they needed to answer that a little bit better. I don't know if they had the CC tools available to just kill Garrosh when he runs at you. You know, between the Jaina and the Zeratul, the problem is Zeratul obviously melee, so if he tries to do damage to Garrosh, he's gonna get flipped. And, you know, that's the one thing that's kind of lacking on the side of Modo is just the range damage that they have. They only have the one. And again, that's the risk that you go with when you go with this comp with the Zeratul. It's all about the wombo. You know, but so far, sanctifications have been on point. And if you did see the level 13 from Stukov, he did go for the root. So look for that to be a problem for Modo as well. I mean, they have pretty much, you know, a plentiful amount of ways to lock down one person and get the kill themselves. Whereas Modo has a little more difficulty in doing so. So no 20 on the side yet of Luxorian Sun. The question is Modo trying to get a pick before then? You know, they've been behind in kills this whole game, 13-1. The next objective will be up. Luxorian Sun will have 20 by then, and their opponents will not. And I don't think Modo can afford to give up another one. I mean, maybe they can. Yo, Bobby Fritos, what's going on? Here's the APOC coming out, but hits no one. Nice job there with the CC. And they got the Holy Ground to hold them off as well. That is unfortunate. Again, that's what I felt like Modo needed to do, though. They needed to get in there and get the kill before their opponents got 20. Just wasn't happening, unfortunately. JTR still hasn't completed his level. Okay, he just got the 3rd stack there. Hasn't completed the level 1. Trying to get him in, though. He's still doing some good damage. We can see the damage right now. Hanzo at 27k. Electra on Malthael right behind him. Corner under pressure on this time of the side of Modo. They have some catapults there. That should be fine. They should be able to clear it up with just Zeratul. But Shrine active in the top. And again, I'd mentioned, is Modo willing to give this up? They have to now, I feel. I mean, the one good thing for Modo is they still have some structures here. You know, they have the fortress went down here, but the keep wall is still intact. So they can get some baits and maybe try to defend the top lane. The question is, what do they do after that? You know, they have to get 20. Losing 2 keeps is not ideal, but it's not the end of the game. In fairness, if Modo hit one good combo, they win this game. No, I agree. I agree with that, absolutely. The problem is it hasn't happened. Swoop on Tyrael has had some very amazing sanctifications. You know, maybe what they could try to do is just use one thing, as we saw earlier. Just use the APOC only and try to bait out the Sanct there, and then follow it up with the VP Ring of Frost. I mean, but there's the VP. Unfortunately, Diablo walks into an arrow, completely whiffing. There is the sanctification. Zabubafuga walks right through them. Bunker going out his will. The Ring of Frost does land on one. Punisher, John Cena walking back in here. Jaina is going to be the first to fall here. King Dingo very low himself. Cleansing Flame trying to keep them alive, but not enough. That is 3 kills going over to Luxorian Sun. Jägermeister very much invisible, but they're going to throw Electra in. 4 kills going over to Luxorian Sun, and that will be the 5th thanks to Swoop's Tyrael Ground. And that will likely be the first game in our series going over to Luxorian Sun as they look to finish this game up here on Infernal Shrines. I mean, but going back to, you know, what we mentioned earlier in chat, it came down to the Wombo combo from Modo. Unfortunately, just weren't able to get it done. Again, props to Swoop, though. Tyrael doing a great job in those Sancts, but again, that is game number 1 going over to Luxorian Sun. Oh, wrong one. Hey, it's me again. Just taking a look at those final damage numbers, you know, 18-1. That was the biggest factor, obviously, is those kills. Luxorian Sun, they got ahead, and it was really difficult for Modo to get back, and unfortunately, they just didn't get the combos. I mean, that's what it came down to. That was the fault in that strategy, is if you don't get the combos, you just lose the game. But I mean, overall, it was a good effort from Modo. I think they tried their best, especially at the end there. But props to Luxorian Sun. So that was game number 1. Game number 2 will be on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So let's go ahead and get that lobby set up for y'all. There we go. There we go. So that was map pick for... Who was that map pick for? That was map pick for Modo. So this is Luxorian Sun's map pick now. I'll make sure we get to... Whoops. I'm not on a team. All right, well, while we get the lobby set up, I'm going to go check on a small 8-year-old girl and make sure she's not getting into trouble and tell her she needs to go to bed. So I'll be right back while we get the lobby set up. BRB. Hey, we're back. Welcome back to game number 2 in our series between Modo and Luxorian Sun. Game number 1 going over to Luxorian Sun on Infernal Shrines. Game number 2 here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. This was their map pick. That means first ban, first pick coming out here from Modo. Last time we saw the bans onto Maiev and Medivh. I would expect similar bans here as well. There's the Medivh. I would probably expect a Maiev ban here. Not necessarily. I mean, it's not like she's incredibly amazing on this map in particular, but she is still just very good. You know, you see her banned more often, for example, in Infernal Shrines, because you have people standing in one spot for a much longer period, which gives her a lot of value on her Q and her pull on her W. So, you know, not necessarily a Maiev ban here. You could let it go through. In fact, they are willing to do so. Gonna ban out the Stukov on the side of Luxorian Sun. So now, what are your picks for Modo? Are they gonna commit to the Maiev, or are they gonna commit to, you know, an early Hanzo pick like we saw last game? Otherwise, they could pick up a support themselves and kind of, you know, try to choke out their opponents. I mentioned before, the top 3 right now are probably Stukov, Malfurion, and Alex Strauss, like we saw last game, specifically on Infernal Shrines. Here, you know, I mean, maybe they go with a Malfurion first pick. The problem with Malfurion first pick is you're basically saying we lack the ability to protect us from burst damage. You know, in Luxorian Sun, they did a good job last time of using Tyrael, which is one way to protect against that. So maybe, you know, that's a strategy that Modo could walk down. But again, the question is, if you're going to commit to a Maiev, you have to commit. And with Stukov already being banned out, that is one tool gone, you know, one tool missing from the Maiev, you know, the pull into the silence. So they are going to indeed commit to the Malfurion this early on. And like I said, I think it's probably smart, you know, just limiting those options. So now Luxorian Sun has the option for themselves to go in Maiev. Again, they don't necessarily have to. But if you're looking to, you know, do the burst damage against Malfurion, Maiev would help. But they're going to go with Garrosh and Hanzo, which we saw from them last game. Again, Garrosh very strong. Hanzo, we saw just the amount of sheer damage he can do and the amount of poke. So I like both of those picks, especially this early. I think they are very great. The question now is, Modo, do they go back to Diablo like they went last game? Diablo is good. I mentioned he's pretty good into Garrosh, just being able to slam him into walls. He can charge back through if he gets flipped himself. Pretty good with Malfurion. You'll have a follow-up CC to your crowd control. They're going to go with 2 picks in Maiev and Phoenix. Not going for a tank at all this early on. Interesting from Modo. I mean, they are both very strong picks. But like I mentioned in the last draft, obviously Phoenix struggles into that hard CC. Go figure. Hard CC counters, low hit point heroes. And with Garrosh already being shown, you know that they're going to be looking to have a follow-up CC to the Garrosh flip. So committing to that is fine as long as you have the tools to keep him alive, basically. Diablo already getting banned on the side of Luxorian Sun. Like I mentioned before, I thought Diablo was probably a smart pick here on the side of Modo. They decided not to go with it. So Luxorian Sun banning that out. Now onto Modo for their bans. They have Malfurion. Opponents already banned Stukov. You could ban a support yourself. Alexstrasza could be a ban here. You could also ban maybe on a Lucio even. I mentioned there's nothing scarier than a Garrosh walking full bore at you, except for a speed boosted Garrosh walking right at you. Lucio, Arthas, Garrosh, like those just walking straight at your face is just something you normally don't want to see. So you could see even a Lucio ban or pickup on the side of either Modo or Luxorian Sun here. They're going to ban out the Uther. I think that's okay too. I mentioned burst damage. Of the heroes available, Uther does have his place in the meta. And because they're showing burst potential, especially with the Maiev, I think that's probably fine. Get rid of the Divine Shield. Picks now for Luxorian Sun. Do they commit to a solo laner this early, or do they save that for last, knowing what they're going against already in terms of damage? We saw Tyrael picked up last game. You might see that again here, especially with Maiev Phoenix. Otherwise, they could try to pick up the Blaze. That would give them a strong solo laner, and Bunker would be a pretty neat tool to have against Maiev. The problem with Bunker is what is being shown. All right, they are gonna commit to the Blaze and pick it up with Raker. But the problem with Bunker against what they're showing is if you walk out of the Bunker, it's going to be a route into a Twilight Dream, into maybe even a Planet Cracker. Planet Cracker actually very good against Blaze in the Bunker style play. So, I mean, that is the one downfall. Rhaegar picked up, I think, is probably okay. It's going to give them a cleanse, which I think is good, and it'll give them that burst heal with the ancestral healing. An additional wave clear, which is always great on Tomb. Last picks here for Modo. They need a solo laner and a tank yet. Unless they choose to have Phoenix as their solo laner. Which it could be. I wouldn't expect it, but it could be. But they need something beefy. They could go for some CC with ETC even. Try to combo that with Malfurion and all the other crowd control. If you're going to go up against Blaze, maybe you could see a Leoric picked up. They are going to pick up the ETC. However, they're going to pair that up with Junkrat. So in terms of frontline, Modo sticking it with ETC and then Maiev is their melee assassin. Pretty squishy, and seeing that, Luxorian Sun's like, what if I just put a ninja on your face? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like with the amount of kills that Luxorian Sun got last game, I'm kind of afraid for Modo, but I think they can prove me wrong with the amount of sheer damage that they have this time around. You know what? We'll see. Get ready for game number 2. Garrosh is scary, especially with that Indomitable talent. Heck yeah. You don't always have to E and then Q. It's perfectly fine to go unstoppable, Q them, and then just walk at them to flip them over. But again, this is game number 2 in our series. First game going over to Luxorian Sun. Modo has another matchup here in about, what is it, 40 minutes from now? I can see some of the players on that team here. But here we go, game number 2 in our series between Modo and Luxorian Sun. On the right-hand side, it is Luxorian Sun with Swoop on the Genji. JTR, Hanzo, once again, Hayes playing Rhaegar, Electra on the Blaze, and Bay State on Garrosh. On the left-hand side, it is Modo with Savo on the Malfurion, Zabumafu on Phoenix. Jägermeister is going to be playing the Maiev, King Dingo on ETC, and Amon playing Junkrat. Blaze not going for the Unstoppable himself. Despite the amount of crowd control on the opposite side, I mean, I guess he's going to be dependent on Bunker and Cleanse. Is that Naisha's Memento? It is Naisha's Memento coming out from Maiev. Also have the Mobile Offense coming out from Phoenix. I don't see that one as often as you would see the Q Quest. And the Q Quest, actually, I feel is better on this map because you have the rotation ability to get the stacks in. But W build Hanzo is pretty interesting here as well. JTR showing he's got the flexibility to go whatever build is necessary in this right situation. See Blaze up at the bottom, or down at the bottom, excuse me. It is going to be Phoenix in the solo, it appears. Maybe that's why you don't go with the Q quest at level 1. Specifically because I'm not going to be, going around hitting Q on people. JTR working in his autos. He doesn't have redemption, but he's trying to get the W stacks eventually. Feral Heart was also the pickup from Rhaegar. Help in those rotations as well. Zabumafu should be okay in this bottom lane against Blaze here. I mean, once his shield goes down, it's obviously a little more difficult. In terms of wave clear, because we have W build Hanzo, it's not as great, especially because he won't get the increased damage until later on. So I feel like this early game wave clear should go over to Modo, especially with Junkrat in this rotation. I mean, it's super, super strong. King Dingo already dropping off some of the gems. JTR has the interrupt. Jägermeister maybe looking to make something happen. Not quite yet. Both teams soaking away. You can see the camp getting picked up on the side of Luxorian Sun at the bottom. I think that's a pretty smart play. Get that pushing in, force a rotation down on them to help Phoenix out. And level 4 is around the corner for both of the teams. The siege camp at the bottom, I mean, it should be cleared up fairly easily, especially with Zabumafu here. Phoenix, pretty good at doing that. Jägermeister's Qs as well. Concussion Mine coming out from Junkrat. The bonds are hits, so not going for the Q quest either. Bay State looking to make something happen. Had Shift queued up the ability. No one home though. And also we have the Ent build coming out. The Vengeful Roots from Malfurion, getting some additional damage, and I actually like that, talent a lot. A lot of people looking to go for Deep Roots, which also very strong. But the amount of damage that little tree does is surprising late in the game. And the amount of squishies, just even on if you get like a Hanzo in a root, I mean, normally a CC on a Hanzo is already a dead Hanzo, but it's a lot of damage. We'll just leave it at that. Otherwise, other talents seem to be pretty much as expected. We did see that Indomitable coming out from Garrosh. No gems turned in quite yet for Luxorian Sun. Both the teams have enough for a turn in. King Dingo try to make it happen at the bottom. Hayes with the interrupt. Get him the doggy dog bite. Question is now, if you're the team, do you just try to go for your Bruiser, or do you really want to protect this turn in, get level 7, and maybe try to force a fight then? Electra trying to get a turn in here. Zabumafu almost got out there from Bay State. King Dingo should should be able to power slide away. He does indeed do that. Electra gets his in. Hayes trying to get in as well. Is King Dingo trying to get it? All right, he does just walk into them. I believe Savo on Malfurion should just be able to interrupt them regardless. Up at the top, it was Hanzo against the Junkrat. Each one of them poking each other out. Neither one looking to turn in themselves. But Hanzo not going for explosive arrows, going for full W, serrated arrows at level 4. So I wouldn't, probably more W unless we're going for the sharpened arrowheads at 7. And it is just more W, more W. Give them all the W's. So again, both teams trying to get a turn here. Swoop should have an interrupt. Genji pretty good at doing so. Up at the top, Hayes getting his turned in as well as JTR. Nice interrupt there from Amon. Cleanse from Rhaegar, Incinerator Gauntlets, pretty much everything we would expect to see. Tenacious Roots pairs up pretty well with all the other root talents. And now it's a poke game. And honestly, I feel like both teams have pretty decent poke. A lot of it comes down to, like I said, the burst damage on each side. Swoop getting aggressive on the point. However, he's got the crowd control on him. Swoop had the cleanse out. Genji will go down. That is first blood going over to Modo. I kind of said it all comes down to that burst damage we saw from the opposite end. JTR trying to get some poke in, but that will be the first objective of the game going over to Modo. So blue web weavers are spawning. You can see Phoenix going back to the bot against Blaze. Priority normally on this map is top lane. That's where the boss is. Bay State's already dropping down his indomitable. Words are hard. Indomitable. It's not like this is my first language or anything. So yeah, they're gonna push in this top lane. Again, this is where the boss spawns. Try to get the towers down at least. Trying to get some Junker quests in. I'm on up to 2 on that, unfortunately, only. Gotta work him in. Gotta work him in. Boots on to Bay State. Level 10 around the corner here now for Modo. They will pick it up shortly. The question is, will they get it in time to force something? It doesn't look like it, as the Web Weaver at the middle already is dead. Garrosh actually falling at the top here. I saw it on my minimap. I didn't think they would get the Junkrat mine on it, but apparently they did. Apparently they just did. There's another kill going for them. They will get level 10 then, as you saw. King Dingo taking some damage there. Twilight Dream, you got the Salvo, Mosh Pit, Warden's Cage. Pretty much everything we expected here. Not enough for a turn in yet for Modo, but they are very close to a second one, and they're just gonna drop off what they have. Level 10's picking up on the side of Luxorian Sun. They have Warlord's Challenge, X-Strike, Dragon's Arrow, Bunker, Rhaegar sitting on his. There's no way they're going Bloodlust, are they? I mean, they need Ancestral, don't they? He's holding it. He's thinking about it. Hayes still, okay, there it is. It is indeed the Ancestral. I mean, that's pretty much what I expected. Hayes was looking for an interrupt. You saw him kind of twitching there. He's like, nah, it's not worth. Not worth. And now, Luxorian Sun holding on to quite a few gems. So, not only do they need to defend all these lanes here, they need to make sure they don't lose anything else in the process. Because if they lose like a Hanzo with those 44 gems, that would be very detrimental for them getting back in this game. So you saw the Siege Camp was picked up at the bottom. That will push against their opponents. However, Phoenix already cleaning that one up. So again, that priority on the top, they're going to go ahead and clean this one up. One in the middle. Going to shove in for a little bit, and Phoenix at the bot was able to clear those Siege Giants up. So hopefully Luxorian Sun, you know, for their part, can try to hold this down to maybe a fort in the middle. The one at the top already is dead. And they actually do a really great job here. I mean, Hanzo W build, it really does burn it down, doesn't it? They don't even lose a single fort. Maybe this one at the bottom will get sniffed on, yeah. Gets sneezed on, gets blown up. Blaze at the bottom, so this is a 5v4 in the middle, so Luxorian Sun needs to back away. Maybe they lose this fort as well for that. Looks like they do. Bay State looking to make something happen, but now he's in the middle. Their team, Swoop as well. Ancestral will go on to ETC. X-Strike trying to keep him alive. Swoop will get out thanks to the X-Strike, and you know, they committed to heroics, neither team getting a kill. But Modo does have level 13 now, and with that, Luxorian Sun likely looking to back away. They do have a lot of gems, 100 gems sitting on the side of Luxorian Sun. Trying to sneak him in here at the bottom, however, I don't think they're going to get them in. They should probably look to go for their Bruiser, maybe? Bay State actually might be overstaying their welcome in the middle here. Zaboomafoo looking for an interrupt onto Electra, gets it. I mean, I feel like Luxorian Sun should just leave. They don't need to force this down 13. I feel like it's way too risky at this point to be doing that. Just clear your waves, get level 13, and then go to turn in. I mean, Electra, I think is actually doing a good job down here. At least forcing someone on him, and then maybe they make the rotation to top instead. Bay State gets shoved into the roots as well. There's the mosh pit, lands on no one. Bay State completes the quest there. They're gonna throw in Zaboomafoo. They get the Twilight Dream on him. Oh, Salvo comes out, Bunker as well. However, will not be in time to save Garrosh. Warden's Cage going out as well, but look at that Riptire. Should be getting a lot of value. Gets the damage out onto Hayes. Hayes will go down here. That is Rhaegar dead. And that is 2 kills to 1 in favor of Modo. Will they get more X-Strike going out onto Jägermeister? Jägermeister has 1 jump available, but he will go down. Electra trying to get Dingo, who does not. That is 3 kills going over to Modo. But they are so low. Luxorian Sun has to back away. They lost quite a few gems there. They had 100 something, now they're down to 60. Will they get the pick onto Amon? Oh, unfortunately, goes the opposite direction. JTR will still get it. Make sure he doesn't die to the trait. So him and Swoop needs to back away. The 2 Shimada brothers making things happen down at the bot lane here. I mean, I feel like Luxorian Sun should just wrap around and turn in top here, right? Doesn't look like they're willing to do so. Instead, maybe looking to get the camp, have that push, and then try to turn in. I feel like they had plenty of time to just rotate to the top. You know, don't show on vision. Just go the long way around. Make them think you're on the camp. But Electra does get the turn in himself. Swoop got his in as well. So that is the Web Weavers regardless going over Luxorian Sun. The problem I felt was JTR sitting on 51 gems. You don't want one of your backline squishies sitting on that many. I mean, I guess it's safer because he should be in the backline. But, you know, Concussion Mine exists. Riptire exists. They have ways of getting to him. Nice roots there from Malfurion, trying to zone them off. Bay State has a Concussion Mine on him as well. And it looks like they're going to send Blaze to the top and push as 4 in the middle. Healing Totem already dropped as well. What we were at the bottom is basically going to get up to the fort and die. This one in the middle almost getting nothing. In fact, Indomino came out already. I believe the cleanse as well. You saw the arrow going as well. Salvo going out. We are committed to a lot of ultimates. Here's the Riptire going to get a lot of value. Zaboomafoo barely gets away. However, Garrosh does not. You saw the bunker was in the back. And the mosh pit does land onto 1. Will it be enough to secure the kill on the Haze? Genji actually gets pulled in. Swoop gets the jump over the wall, but now Electra caught into the root. He does have the shield and the Ancestral. However, Haze had to go in there deep to get that heal on him. And I can't believe both these teams not getting the last kill. Oh, they will get the kill on Maiev. Will King Dingo get away? We saw the reset from Swoop. No, he will not. And that is 3 kills to 1 in favor of Luxorian Sun. Swoop is actually gets pushed back behind this wall. Webweaver still active at the top, pushed all the way to the top here. JTR gonna try to get his 51 gems in here. And they have enough for a turn in. They're headed to boss. I actually don't. I mean, I guess it's smart to pick this up first. I don't know. Did they have Did they have time to turn in and do the boss at the same time? I'm not sure. But I guess their burn is pretty quick, so safe plays from them. I just didn't know if they're going to be able to get to the turn in time, but I was quite wrong on their amount of siege potential. They burned that down really quickly. Oh, that's right. Hanzo went full W build. By the way, he just eats bosses for dinner. So they get the boss and the web weavers. 2 web weavers in a row with the boss. This is going to be a powerful push coming out from Luxorian Sun. And how does Modo react? They already lost this keep at the top. This boss is getting shredded. Question is, does Luxorian Sun just go straight for the jugular, or do they get all the keeps down? Looks like they're going to try to go for the jugular. They're sticking around in top lane here, looking to make something happen. Bay State getting aggressive on a King Dingo and has the taunt on top of him. They're going to have the Warden's Cane and the arrow from JTR as well. King Dingo gets away. Bay State takes a lot of damage. He's going to jump in the bunker, but he has the roots on top of him. Bay State has the Ancestral as well. No kills quite yet. However, this core is falling. The shields are down. Webweaver finally here. King Dingo making something happen. No, the concussion mine ruins the mosh pit. Blaze and Bay State will both fall still, though. And with that, Modo manages to push them away, despite ruining their own mosh pit. They did push them into the rest of the team to get the kills. All right, that was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. So Luxorian Sun committed hard to getting the win there, and it just didn't happen. You know, I questioned whether that was the right call to force the win or to go for the rest of the keeps. Obviously didn't end up working out for them. They got 15% on the core. But now is Modo's time to get back in this game. They have a lot of gems available to turn in. However, all their waves are pushed against them for the time being. And they don't have any talent advantage. They do have a numbers advantage for about 5 seconds here. I feel like they just walk in on them, right? Like, they don't need to zone. Just walk in on them. King Dingo's looking to walk in on them. Yeah, there you go. Just walk in on that Genji. Roots not hit him, but now Luxorian Sun already on the way here. They do get the turn in. Question is, do they get away? Looks like they do. Bay State again running in at them though. It's pushed into the trap. Again, nothing scarier than a Garrosh just walking right at your team. But here are the web weavers coming down from Modo. The question for them is, how much do they get? Bay State popping the Indomitable early, making sure it doesn't get power slid on. I mean, the catapults at the top should basically make sure that the top web weaver only gets to about the fort unless it has help. One at the bottom actually should push in pretty far. The question is, how much gets done here in the middle? Does Luxorian Sun commit hard to saving this one? I mean, this is the wave most pushed in. And again, we do have JTR with the full W build. I believe that's piercing arrows at 16, right? Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good. Gonna flip over King Dingo. He has the taunt on top of him. Bay State gets the power slid on the Riptire. Gonna wait out the bunker. Gets a lot of value. And the Web Weaver on their faces. But again, no kills. Nice job there from both of the supports as well, keeping the team alive. So the hard commit to the defense worked out for Luxorian Sun. They're gonna go ahead, push out the bottom lane, and likely save all of their keeps from this push. Modo does almost have level 20 though. And with that, you know, advantage, they should be able to push in at least the keep wall, if not the entire keep. Just looking at timers, boss is up in 50 seconds. I believe in the next 50 seconds, though, Luxorian Sun should be able to soak to 20. Is that death metal? It is indeed death metal coming out from ETC. Which actually I feel is going to get a lot of value here. I mean, if they just hard commit to a team fight and just let Dingo die, they could get so much done with it, especially with the Riptire and the upgraded Riptire with the CDR. So level 20 here for Modo, but they're not really forcing a whole lot. I mean, they could have stayed top, I felt. The problem is there are catapults against them at top lane, so the push against them's a little better. Bay State blocking the well. No! Oh, rip. Okay. Level 20 around the corner for Luxorian Sun, and does Modo stick around to grab this camp? I feel like this is a pretty aggressive move from them. Will it pay off? Bay State gets pushed into the team, uses Indomitable. 20 here for Luxorian Sun, which means Modo is going to indeed back away. Boss is now available. Modo looking to grab the siege camp at the bottom. Malfear is still sitting on his 20. Is he going for Astral Communion is the question, I guess, is they're looking for. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I think like Astral Communion would be the correct pickup. But level 20 is on the side. Luxorian Sun, upgraded bunker, rewind coming out from Rhaegar. Play of the game. I don't even know what the name of the X-Strike upgrade is. Living Weapon, Titanic Might. I actually love Titanic Might. That is such a fun level 20 upgrade. Being able to just throw two things is pretty fun. You can see the turn at the bottom on the side of Luxorian Sun. Modo has to go to the top because there are catapults against them. Does Luxorian Sun look to get aggressive on their opponent's camp while their opponents are at the top cleaning out those catapults? It looks like they are indeed. King Dingo has scouted out. He saw the scatter arrow here. They're not capping it. Okay, there's the cap. The question is now, does Luxorian Sun look to pick a fight, or do they play the safe game and then go for like a boss play? They don't have enough for a turn-in, and it's going to take a few waves for them to even get the turn-in. And with all of their waves pushed against their opponents, it can be very difficult for them to actually get the gems necessary. Modo turning in theirs, which is pretty smart. They only need 4. You know, that's only 2 waves for them. So because they didn't poke that out, that's actually pretty bad for Luxorian Sun. Now Modo has the potential for a turn-in. So now that boss play I talked about earlier is not really an option. They basically just have to protect the turn-in and wait for catapults to go in. Which is also a smart thing to do. Don't get me wrong, either one of those plays is good. I just felt like they could have maybe protected turn-in and then not had that option available for their opponents. But now they're a little split, and they need to pay attention to that. I believe they should be able to just leave Swoop on Genji at the bottom here as their goaltender and leave the rest of the team at top or hover around middle. I mean, we're kind of going back and forth here. Both of the teams not really committing. But again, catapult in favor of Luxorian Sun. They can wait this out, but it doesn't look like they want to. Electra goes in, gets the root on top of them. Bay State has the Indomitable, gonna flip over King Dingo. But again, you don't want to kick in, you don't want to throw in ETC. He has Mosh Pit and the Death Metal. There's no way ETC should be the target on the flips, but now there is that Mosh Pit I talked about. Gonna get interrupted for the time being. However, here comes Riptire. Bay State will fall. However, Amon will get picked off the backside. JTR has the silence on top of him. But they're gonna pull Electra in here. Power Slide from King Dingo will lock in Electra. Ancestral saving him for now. Swoop trying to make the counter engage. That is still a 1-for-1 trade, but Modo does get the turn in. However, they had catapults all the way on their core, and so the web weavers are spawning very back in that lane, and the one at the bottom is pretty far back. Will they get a kill on a Swoop here? He is going to X-Strike away from that one. So really, we're going to be looking at the middle lane here. No catapults here, obviously. They should be able, I feel like, to get this middle key. But as I said that, JTR just like, what if I hit it with my W? What if I just scatter arrow it to death? Pretty insane damage coming out from Hanzo in terms of the objective. But this keep is falling, already down to half health. But Hanzo. That is silly. We'll just leave it at that. That is a silly amount of damage. In fact, we can pull up those damage numbers. Blaze, 187k siege damage, keeping those waves cleared. 65k damage coming up from Hanzo, laying down that poke as well. We're in for a long game here, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like Modo just gonna force the boss. I don't know if they had vision on their opponents anywhere else, but maybe they're looking to bait instead. Yeah, they're gonna actually back away from this. Luxorian Sun does have enough for a turn-in now. And they get a keep at the bottom. Modo does. That's actually pretty important from them. They have a pretty big minion wave there at the bottom. No catapults, so there's not gonna be any pressure on the shields, I think. It's just gonna be the the spiders. But Luxorian Sun, again, they have catapults in the top. Obviously, Modo will have them now at the bottom. You know, I mentioned boss. It's a win condition for either team, honestly. However, Web Weavers does get turned at the bottom, but now they can see that the boss was started because on the minimap, they can see it's here. Does Luxorian Sun come in here? Do they get baited in hard? I mean, they saw it started. Arrow comes out. That is one heroic down. King Dingo has the WA. He's going to get stunned up and taunted. Big damage, but watch out. There is the death metal. It lands on the 4 people. Riptide coming out. They're going to get the salvo as well. They're going to completely blow up Luxorian Sun. That is going to be a full team wipe to Modo. They just completely annihilated them there. Modo with the perfect baits at the boss. They should be able to just walk this one straight to the core, ignore the objective. I mean, they're not going to have a minion wave with them, but I believe Malfurion should be able to keep them alive. Between the Phoenix and Junkrat, they should have enough core damage here to last them the 30 seconds or so. It looks like the GGs have been called, and that will be game number 2 going over to Modo as they tie up this series and split it for the week. Great job from them. Go ahead and win that game. And they have another one coming up here in about 30 minutes. Take a look at those final damage numbers. Phoenix had an amazing amount of siege damage himself. 14 kills to 8. I mean, 5 of those obviously from Modo were right at the end there. Final talents as well. That last team fight, you know, I questioned what you needed to do there. I think it was smart for them to bait it so at least their opponents knew that they were there. I was actually really afraid that they were going to get caught out. But King Dingo, that amazing pickup at level 20, the death metal, landed on a 4, and then you had Junkrat with the rip tires. I mean, everything went right there from Modo at the end. So that was pretty good from them. But that was game for them. We're going to see if either of the teams are looking for an interview. I know they have another one. We're going to ask them both, though. Saw Bay State was looking for unranked. I don't know if that's real, if they're just going to discuss this. But again, Modo does have another game up against 2+2 after this. Maybe they want some time to take a break. Bay State. Oops, I'm in the wrong voice chat.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Grace?
Pretty good, you?
I'm all right.
Well, first of all, congratulations getting back there in game number 2. But I want to first go back to game number 1. Let's talk about that game on Infernal Shrines. You guys went for the Wombo combo potential with the... I can't even think. The Zeratul, the Jaina, and the Diablo there.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't end up working out for you, but was that basically your entire strategy going in there, or were you looking... I mean, you obviously picked Zeratul early. Were you thinking that we were necessarily had to commit to that earlier, or why did you go for that combo specifically?
Honestly, there wasn't too much thought to it. We were just like, well, maybe we'll go for a Wombo, and we were thinking maybe holding the 0, which we probably should have done because then we could have switched our last pick.
Okay.
But we went for it a little early. I think we actually still would have been fine. It's just we got picked a lot early in the game. Our 0 went down a few times early, and we went behind like 10s to 8s, and that's just really tough to come back from. So, yeah, just a little bit sloppy early on. So, but we'll get it soon enough.
All right, I saw Swoop join. I'll get to you right after I get done with Savo here.
No problem.
Game number 2, you guys, I mean, obviously we just saw the results there, but picking up the Maiev and the Phoenix early on, not showing your front line right away. Were you worried about the Diablo ban, or were you kind of hard committed to TC after that?
Truthfully, there were a couple of things that we were thinking about. I mean, there was still Joe on the board. There was still, I mean, there was a few tanks, still Murden even, who's pretty decent into a Garrosh, but we decided to go with the ETC just because he's got a little bit of good peel, plus he can actually engage when we want to. We just want to play that game pretty smart. We had good poke, so.
I mean, I do have to give shout outs to King Dingo because that death metal at the end there, I said it's a pretty good level 20 pickup and obviously worked out for him.
Yeah, I didn't know he was that far up isolated, and he's like, "Don't worry, guys." We're like, "All right,
it's okay if I die. I planned on that."
Yeah, we're like, "Save Dingo, save Dingo." He's like, "It's okay."
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. Great series coming out. Do you have any shout outs before you get going here?
I'll just shout out to my team actually because we still haven't even practiced like a full match with our 5-stack yet, so this kind of is our practice right now, so we're really sloppy right now, but we're slowly getting it, so it's nice that we actually stayed this strong and played very smart that second game without the practice. So just shout out to my team for keeping their heads on straight in a tough game.
All right, well, great. Thanks again for the interview, and I'll see you in like 20 minutes.
Sounds good. Yep, good game, Swoop.
Yeah, good game.
All right, later, Russ.
I will not be taking any questions on ETC level 20 talents. Thank you.
Oh, and thank you, Bahamut, for the nice host there. I think you guys were casting Heroic as well. So, Swoop, we're going to go back to game number 1, first of all, on Infernal Shrines. You guys had a pretty dominating performance there. I guess the one thing I was questioning, were you worried about the Wombo? Or, were you like, we got Tyrael, we're fine?
We really didn't expect him to go for the Zeratul Jaina, but we always have. I don't know. Tyrael just the problem with that is that they gave up Stukov. Like we actually kind of made the mistake because we know that they like playing Stukov, but we thought that it wasn't going to be worth banning on that map. Mm-hmm. So we gave it up, and then they opted to take the Alexstrasza, which makes sense on Infernal Shrines, but it doesn't make sense if you're going for the Wombo combo, because usually when you're doing that, you take Stukov to silence out the Sanct.
Yep.
But they gave us Stukov and just took Alexstrasza instead. So I don't know. The Sancts were pretty free. They didn't really have any way to stop it outside of maybe Diablo charging me, but even that seems kind of difficult. So yeah, we weren't too worried about it.
Okay. Well, and then game number 2, speaking of Stukov, you guys ended up banging that out as the first, but were you expecting them to go to Malfurion right away then as well?
We haven't really done like a ton of scouting on them or anything. Like Malfurion is like the other meta healer right now. So it's not surprising. Like we knew that if they wanted Malfurion, they could have him, but it wasn't really like part of our drafting thoughts.
Mm-hmm. And then the last thing on that game, obviously we saw the results, but hard committing to the top push with the Web Weavers, trying to go for the jugular and get the kills rather than going for the safe bet and keys. Were you guys confident in your ability to get it there? Or what was kind of your strategy trying to get the kills on the top lane there?
It was going to be tricky. We knew that they had, they had a Wombo combo, and whenever you're playing against a Wombo combo and the game gets that late, you really don't want to just get hit by it once and lose, as you can obviously tell. So we knew we had good kill pressure, and we're pretty comfortable with that comp in general. So we thought that there was a potential to get some kills, and then in the end, I think we just ended up getting a little. I mean, it's whatever, but I think we just ended up getting a little split up, and then like some people got my Ev'd, and sometimes you just don't quite get the kills you need. It wasn't like the end of the world. We just ended up losing to a deathmatch.
It happens.
It does.
Well, again, at least you guys split the series. You got that going for you, which is nice. Do you have any shout outs for me before you get going here?
Shout outs to my team. Shout outs to JTR. We played patches. We played with another player patches last Thursday, and JTR today with pretty minimal practice because we're trying to figure out who our new range player is going to be. Mm-hmm. And I think that I just shout out to both of those guys for putting in pretty good performances for us.
All right, great. Well, again, congratulations on at least getting the 1. Otherwise, I might be able to get you guys for another cast coming up. Bay State mentioned before, I was the first cast for Luxorian Sun way back in September 2016. So it's nice to see you guys back in action again.
Yeah, man. We look forward to it. Thanks for casting.
All right, later.
Yeah, see you.
All right, so again, that was the series between Modo and Luxorian Sun. They ended up splitting the series 1-1. We do have a double header coming up here for Modo, however. They'll be facing 2+2 here in about 15 minutes. We're going to go ahead and take a break between now and then. I will leave the stream up. We'll have the VOD later. We'll split it as a highlight. We're going to leave the stream up, but we're going to take a 15-minute break. So, you know, we'll be back. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.